Hello and welcome back, guys, gals, and non-binary pals, to another reading by me, Patch.Work.Podfics. Today I'll be reading a one-shot I wrote recently, titled, Love is an Open Door. Close it before you let all of the cold air out. This fic is rated for general audiences, and there are no archive warnings. Here's the summary. Yamada Hizashi, if teenage angst had a name. Or, due to a miscommunication caused by Nemuri's meddling, the Rooftop Trio finds their relationship shaken up. Now Yamada needs to grapple with his painful feelings, and Aizawa needs to look up some stuff. Oboro is there too. Hizashi Yamada had a problem. That problem was 185 centimeters tall, had fluffy light blue hair, and was the prettiest boy to ever grace the planet. Yamada, Yamamama, Yamada da da da. Yamada finally snapped to attention, realizing that the very focus of his daydreaming was speaking to him. I was just wondering if you wanted to come with me and show later. We figured we'd hit up the arcade after school today. You in? Oboro Shirakumo said, pointing a thumb over his shoulder to where a black-haired boy sat. I never agreed to that, Shota Aizawa grumbled. Aw, look at him pretending to be emo. You'll need to try harder than that to push us away. Oboro grinned. I hate you, Aizawa growled, letting his face drop down to his desk where he pretended to fall asleep to avoid the conversation. Oboro just cooed in response. What a classic tsundere move, Sho. I know you really love me. Aizawa raised a hand and flicked off the other teen. Yamada laughed along with his friend's antics, but deep down, hearing those words from Oboro hurt. Yamada did know that Aizawa really loved the blue-haired angel, just like he knew that Oboro loved the grumpy black cat in human form. It wasn't hard to see why the pair was so good together. Their quirks made a perfect combination for non-lethal capture, civilian rescue and subduing operations, and really any other kind of job. It was like they were built to complement the other's weaknesses. Then there were their personalities. They say opposites attract, and in no case was this more evident than with the grumpy, quiet Aizawa and the loud, boisterous Oboro. Yamada was far from Oboro's opposite, a fact he knew all too well. Lastly, the nail in the coffin. It was the fact that Yamada knew, despite all of Aizawa's complaining, that he would be following Oboro home after school. Despite his grumbling, he would be spending the afternoon in that arcade. On the other end, Oboro needed to ask Yamada to come along. Aizawa was already assumed. Everything that one did, the other followed. Yamada may have always tagged along, but he felt like a third wheel. Like the feelings he had for one of his best friends were rotting out his friendship from the inside out. Like he was breaking up his favorite will they, won't they couple, all because he was too selfish to let a stupid, childish crush go. You know I'm down, Yamada agreed loudly, shooting a thumbs up to the blue-haired boy. For the arcade, that is. I'll be beating your skee-ball record, just watch. As Oboro feigned a betrayed look, Yamada was beating himself up internally. He wished he could just be honest with himself for once, could end this torture. Unfortunately, Hizashi Yamada was a master of putting on faces. For him, lying to everyone and putting their happiness over his own through cleverly constructed masks was what being a hero meant. He may be a clown, but at least nobody felt like they had to worry about him. Oboro grabbed his and Aizawa's bag and started to walk away. The arcade awaits us! Vamonos, let's go! Hey, that's my bag! Aizawa complained, standing up and running to catch up with his already sprinting friend. Yamada ran behind him. Maybe that was where he felt safest. Far behind. Watching from a distance. Maybe tomorrow he would say something. Yeah. Tomorrow. Shota Aizawa had a problem, and it came in the form of an upperclassman, a girl who stood 175 centimeters tall, had long, inky black hair, and was overall an absolute pain. Come on, Mr. Doom and Gloom. Are you honestly planning on staying single forever? Nemuri Kayama whined, upset that her underclassmen had just shut down another attempt she had made to play matchmaker. Shio is super cute, and you're totally her type. Why don't you just... Oh, I said I'm not interested. Aizawa groaned, wishing Nemuri would leave him alone already. Why would I care about dating anyway? It's completely illogical. I'm training to be a hero, not some Casanova. Nemuri hummed, studying the boy like he was some science experiment she didn't quite understand yet. I think I see the problem. Honestly, it's strange I didn't think of it earlier. Aizawa raised an eyebrow. And what exactly did you not think of before? Nemuri pointed at Aizawa, looking like she just solved the secret of the universe. You're gay, aren't you? It's all right, you can tell me. No, the boy abruptly replied. It's not like he hadn't considered that when he was younger, but he felt no differently towards anyone, regardless of gender. People were all just stock photo humans. How could anyone be attracted to that? I know you feel safer in the closet, but you can come out, promise. I don't bite, unless you want me to. Nemuri smirked at that last part, leading Aizawa to adopt a disgusted sneer. Ew, he said simply, turning away from the girl. Nemuri sighed, quite dramatically. Honestly, you'll never meet the right boy with an attitude like that. You should be grateful that me and your buddies like you so much, because this emo act, it isn't going to do you any favors in the friend department. Aizawa continued to stare at a speck on the wall, away from Nemuri. He refused to humor the girl. Nemuri paused for a moment, before a smile slowly overtook her face, at which point Aizawa felt the hairs on the back of his neck stand up. Say, you and Yamada would make a cute couple, don't you think? Or maybe Oboro? Stop. Please. Just stop. Aizawa begged, dragging his hands down his face in social agony over the turn in conversation. Blue and black is so in season, you know. Nemuri grinned, poking at the embarrassed boy. I think you'd make a great couple. Plus, he's already one of the, 3 people you tolerate anyways. Bold of you to include yourself on that list, the boy growled back. You're not denying it, the girl sing-songed, delighted at the prospect of this new ship. If you don't confess your feelings to him, I'll confess them for you. Aizawa looked up at the girl. Like heck you are. I don't think of him that way. That's weird. Nemuri wagged her finger at the boy, already turning to skip away. That's homophobic, Sho. You shouldn't say that. The door slammed shut in his face as Aizawa struggled to overcome the shock of the situation. Was Nemuri actually about to go tell Oboro that he had feelings for him? No, she wouldn't do that. On second thought, she absolutely would. Aizawa pulled his phone out, tapping out a quick text to the blue-haired boy in question. Catboy, look out for Nemuri. She's headed your way. Oboro Shirakumo. What do you mean? Catboy, she's trying to ship me again. Oboro Shirakumo. What else is new? LOL. Catboy, I'm messaging you because you're involved this time. Oboro. That's a new one. Catboy, I just thought you should know not to trust whatever she says to you. Catboy, also stop doing that to my name. Catboy changed their name to Shota Aizawa. Oboro, aw, you're no fun. Shota, you're. Oboro, yeah, so actually I'm blocking you. Shota, if only. Oboro, rude. Anyways, why would Nem be saying that? Oboro, you got a secret crush on me or something? Ooh. Shota, 1, never do that again. Shota, 2, no. Oboro, good, 'cause you aren't my type either, LOL. Oboro, I bet I'm not yours either. Shota, I don't have one. Oboro, you know that's fair. Oboro, you really always gave me Airways vibes. Shota, question mark. Oboro, like aromantic? Asexual? Shota, Unless you're inferring that I can reproduce via osmosis, I am lost. Oboro, you can't be serious. Oboro, here. Oboro sent a link to orientation.fandom.com/Arrowace. Shota, I read the article. Shota, first, why does this have a fandom wiki? Oboro Shirakumo changed Shota Aizawa's name to Closeted Ace Boy. Closeted Ace Boy. ... Closeted Ace Boy. That doesn't even deserve a response. Second, this isn't special. It's just how every human being on Earth feels. Except maybe Nemuri, but she is an outlier. Closeted Ace Boy. Romantic feelings are just something people pretend to have. Oboro. Bro. Oboro. No? Closeted Ace Boy changed their name to Shota Aizawa. Shota Aizawa. Explain. Oboro. I mean, I'm pan, right? Shota. I am aware. Oboro. That doesn't mean I just go for anybody of any gender. I like specific people because I like them, not because they fit into boxes. Romantic feelings make up a big part of it, you know? Shota. Alright. I guess that makes sense. Oboro Shirakumo is typing. Shota. Hello? Shota. You've been typing for 8 minutes. Shota. How long is this message? Good God. Oboro. Sorry. Oboro. Nem found me. Shota. Oh. What happened? Oboro. I didn't want to out you after you just found out your Arrowace. Shota. I haven't confirmed that as a scientific fact yet. Oboro. And I panicked. Shota. Oboro Nicotine Shirakumo. What have you done? Oboro. First, calm down, Mom. Second, I may have told her that we're secretly dating. Shota. What? Oboro. Oopsie! Shota. I'm not mad. Shota. Just disappointed. Oboro. OMG, I'm sorry. Don't kill me, please. I just panicked. Plus, this is good. Shota. Name one. One good thing. You have 60 seconds. Oboro. So, imagine how Nem is feeling right now. Oboro. She thinks we're secretly dating and she can't say anything. Oboro. That's torture for her. Oboro. This is the perfect payback. Shota. Alright. Oboro. Alright? What do you mean? Shota. The missiles have been deactivated. Oboro. Missiles? Shota. Ha. Ha. It was a logical ruse. Shota. Call it payback. Nemuri Kayama had a problem. This problem was a secret, one that seemed to burn her from the inside out. Aizawa, the hopeless emo kid Aizawa, had a boyfriend. Not only that, but they had been secretly dating for who knows how long. It was torture. Oh, hey Nemuri, what's up? Nemuri turned to see her underclassman, Yamada, pointing 2 finger guns at her and grinning lamely. Your 2 best friends are dating? Say what? What? Yamada responded, squinting past his prescription sunglasses as if it would help him parse out the girl's words. Nemuri immediately slapped her hands over her mouth, but it was too late. The damage had already been done. My 2 best friends? Are you talking about Oboro and Shota? Yamada squeaked. He didn't need a verbal response, though. The look on the girl's face said it all. The boy's face darkened as he took a step closer to Nemuri, grabbing onto her sleeve without warning. I'm gonna need you to explain yourself, you dig? The boy spoke, his tone still cheerful, yet Nemuri felt a chill run down her spine regardless. Ah, yeah! She laughed nervously, suddenly overwhelmed by a sensation of impending doom if she didn't answer this question carefully. About that... Yamada was spiraling. Just minutes ago, he had been hit with the world's most unexpected news, and now here he was, standing, staring at his phone, hovering a finger over a text he knew he couldn't bear to send. Watching over the large, clear sheet of glass framing the hallway of UA's third floor, Yamada saw students pour out from the building, likely headed back to their homes, maybe even part-time jobs. Not him. No, Yamada was destined to be alone, always the center of attention, yet at the same time, the one most easily forgotten. Wait, was that Oboro? Yamada snapped to attention so quick he nearly got whiplash, grabbing the window frame and peering hard through the glass. Sure enough, Oboro was walking through the crowd, partnered with Aizawa. The blonde reopened the trio's group chat, but sure enough, he didn't see any messages indicating plans to hang out after school today. Since Oboro lived in the opposite direction as Yamada and Aizawa, he usually took a different train. In other words, the only reason the pair would be walking home together was if they had plans. Plans which clearly didn't involve a certain blonde-haired, braces-clad third wheel. Yamada fell to his knees, tears welling up in his eyes. He knew he should be happy for his friends, wish them good luck in their relationship, but he couldn't bring himself to acknowledge the facts, couldn't bring himself to be honest, couldn't bring himself to send a text to the boy he'd been crushing on for the 2 long years. I like you. The boy's phone clicked rapidly as he deleted the message, one letter after another vanishing into nothingness. Oboro Shirakumo had a problem. He had stubbed his toe. It hurt. "Why must I be cursed?" the boy yelled dramatically, laying sprawled out on the sidewalk in faux agony. "This mortal body has cast suffering upon me!" Aizawa dragged a hand across his face. "Please, stop. Just get up and walk it off." Oboro sprang to his feet, chuckling. "You're no fun. Can you focus? We've got a problem, in case you managed to forget." "Oh, yeah. That." Oboro grimaced, remembering Nemuri. "Any ideas on what we should do? Or if we should even do anything? I mean, you agreed that this is the perfect revenge on Nemuri, didn't you?" "Yeah, Nemuri." Aizawa paused his walking, turning to stare into Oboro's eyes intently. "Everyone else, on the other hand?" It took what seemed like hours for the gears to turn in Oboro's head before he had his eureka moment. "You think she's gonna spill the beans?" "Well, duh," Aizawa grumbled, beginning to follow his friend down the sidewalk again. "When has she ever kept a secret for longer than she can hold her breath?" "Oh. What's the plan, then?" "Well, obviously, we need to clear up the misunderstanding with anyone we can before Nemuri gets to them. Our classmates and any third years who we know as well." Aizawa listed off, like he was recounting a battle strategy for a villain hideout raid. Oboro nodded along, brow furrowed. He was only half pretending to understand the strategy. He got most of it, and that was what counted. "I'll take our classmates who don't know Nemuri well and give them vague warnings about her, if you take the rest," Aizawa ordered, inferring that Oboro would message their shared close friends and Nemuri's friends a more specific warning, since they would understand better. Oboro understood exactly half of that. "Got it!" he exclaimed, already tapping out a mass text to all the third years he knew, warning them about a prank he and Aizawa were playing on Nemuri, and how none of them should take her seriously if she said something strange. Aizawa followed suit, sending out more undercover messages to the second years, letting them know about a prank the upperclassmen planned to pull on their youngers, and that nobody should fall for it if they heard something strange. All in all, a perfectly thought-out plan, with one glaring exception. They had both forgotten the most important person to warn, Hizashi Yamada. "I'm glad that's dealt with," Oboro cheered, tossing his phone back into his backpack to ignore the storm of buzzing replies he received near instantly. "Now hurry up, man. We're almost there." Aizawa powered his phone off completely and sighed. Almost where? You never explained where we're headed. Oh, no big deal. Just a gay bar I know of nearby. I want to introduce you to someone. The blue-haired boy grinned, ramping up his walking speed to a jog. A bar? Aizawa paused, narrowing his eyes at a friend. You're underage. We both are. What do you mean a bar? Oboro Shirakumo just laughed, sprinting away from his best friend. Sure, today had been complicated, but overall, it was turning out just great. Yamada walked to school the next day, hair matted and bags hanging underneath his eyes. He hadn't gotten any sleep last night, not after what had happened the day before. Especially not after he had gotten the courage to call his friends, and they had both sent him to voicemail. He knew when he wasn't wanted. Hey kid, what's got you looking like someone shot your dog? The school security, guard hog, asked. The boy turned to look at the man slowly. Tears welled up in his eyes as he realized he didn't know what to say in response. Whoa! Someone really did shoot your dog? Where'd they go? I oughta... The hero rallied, whipping his head around and loudly sniffing the air to seek out the supposed pet assassin. No, Yamada finally managed, shaking his head at the guard. It's just personal stuff. Oh, well, that sucks. Guard Hog frowned, ushering the boy through the gates of UA. I wish you luck, then. Yamada smiled as politely as he could muster, and continued his journey into the school. He didn't know how he could handle today, but at least he figured he should try and put a mask up, to make his friends feel like everything was normal. Let's just say the mask didn't last long. Why didn't you tell me about you both? Yamada blurted as soon as the door closed behind the trio, leaving them alone on the school rooftop, lunches in hand. Shh! Oboro hissed. You're gonna get us caught, man! Aizawa raised a hand, quieting the blue-haired doofus. Hold up. What do you mean by us both? Nemuri told me. You guys don't need to pretend anymore. I know. Aizawa and Oboro made a split second of eye contact, wordlessly passing along the same message. I thought you told him. Wait, it isn't what you... Aizawa started, but he was cut off immediately by his friend. You really hid this from me, Zawa? Even though I loved him first? I feel so betrayed. Tears started to stream down Yamada's face as he confessed the feelings burning inside of him. All that anger, fear, and love mixed together into an ugly concoction. The other two teens took a moment to process the blonde's words. He loved him first? Does he mean... Hey, Yamada. Oboro was the first to speak, gently placing his hands upon his friend's shoulders. Aizawa and I aren't dating. That was a misunderstanding with Nemuri, and that's all it was. Okay? Yamada sobbed, still not fully trusting the words. But your date yesterday... Aizawa raised an eyebrow. Date? Mr. Wise Guy over here dragged me to a bar to talk to a friend of his. We talked about some stuff. I just had a lot to think about, and Oboro helped me understand it. I'll explain more on that later. Yeah, Oboro cut in. We've got bigger fish to fry. First off, are you okay? Yamada nodded slowly, wiping tears from his eyes. As his emotions died down to more manageable levels, all he felt was embarrassed. He couldn't believe he had let his mask slip down so easily. Maybe he was bottling up more than he thought. Really, though? Because I could swear I heard you say something about someone liking someone? The blue-haired boy egged his friend on, gripping his shoulders tighter and looking closer into his eyes. Oboro may have sounded like he was joking, but Yamada could tell how earnest he was being. Feeling like now was the best chance he was going to get, the boy spoke. Yeah, I said I loved you. I meant it. Yamada may have stammered, feeling like his heart was going to explode. Still, he refused to back down. Not over this. Never again. I do too, Oboro said simply. Love you, that is, not love myself, although I do love myself a healthy amount. The boy's stammering was cut off as Yamada leaned in for a kiss. Aizawa's face scrunched up as he watched his two friends make out. Ew, how unsanitary. Hey, maybe this whole arrow ace thing isn't bad. It means I never need to do that, he thought as he excused himself from the rooftop, letting the door close silently behind himself. Not that it mattered. A bomb could have gone off, and those two boys wouldn't have noticed at this point. Aizawa knew he had always been the third wheel to the pair anyways. Besides, this was UA. Blue and yellow was always in fashion here. Hizashi Yamada had a problem. That problem was 187 centimeters tall, wore a perpetually goofy expression and a mystery band-aid. It had been his official, not at all secret, boyfriend for the past 3 months. You got something on your mind, boo? Oboro wondered aloud, grabbing Yamada's hand. He had been trying out a new nickname every day, ever since the dam of Yamada's feelings broke, and he found out how much the blonde envied the nicknames Oboro made up for everyone else. Aw, that's just because I love your name, though. Changing it felt wrong when it's so perfect, the boy had said, which had made Yamada drop the matter instantly. Though, that didn't stop Oboro from teasing his new partner with constant names, each one a bundle of affection. Only that I love you, Yamada murmured, still embarrassed to speak the words aloud. What was that, boo? Oboro teased. I know your quirk. You can do better than that. Yamada took a deep breath and conjured his quirk. I love you, Oboro Shirakumo! The blue-haired boy squealed in joy, grabbing his boyfriend's hand tighter and taking a deep breath of his own. I love you too! Aizawa stood off to the side, clutching his ears. Did they really need to be so loud and mushy all the time? He needed to take a second look at his choice of best friends. Yamada laughed along with Oboro at their friend's grumpy expression and leaned onto the shoulder of his goofy, loud, reliable partner. Yeah, Yamada Hizashi had a problem. But it was his problem. And Yamada knew he wouldn't trade his problem for the world. And that is the end of this fic. I hope you all enjoyed. It was definitely out of my usual writing comfort zone, but, you know, happy birthday to Alistair. I hope you enjoy this one. Patch out.